We're at the New Green Frontier Cannabis Investor Conference, speaking to Peter Miller, the co-founder and president of SLANG Worldwide. Peter, welcome to SmallCapPower.
Thanks for having me.
So what is SLANG and why this name?
SLANG is a cannabis CPG company, consumer packaged goods. We're not a vertically integrated business. We don't cultivate, we don't retail. We start at manufacturing and go all the way to a finished good that we wholesale to retailers.
You differentiate yourself by saying that you have the best brands and the best distribution network. How have you achieved that?
Yeah, so I'll qualify best. Ultimately, a brand's not a brand unless you can buy it in a lot of places, it's being bought in quantity, and there's people that are building a relationship with that product. To that extent, our portfolio of brands has historically sold more than any other portfolio of brands in the space that we're aware of, and we use third parties like BDS Analytics to quantify that. How we've done that is sort of the traditional CPG way. The head of our sales organization, Chris Dreesen, has pods of people that cover a certain number of accounts. They have a great ground game, just pounding pavement, but they also use more sophisticated sales strategies and systems that he's brought from Fortune 500 companies that he's both worked at and studied.
Take us behind the inception of SLANG Worldwide. What was the intention behind the company, and going forward, what's your vision for SLANG?
Yeah, so it came together because my co-founder, Billy Levy, and the other co-founders in our group had been in this space for a while. So while we're mostly a young team, with more gray hairs by the day, just due to the nature of this industry, we sort of built a thesis around brands based on what we'd experienced over the past 6-7 years, which is that at maturity, there's a lot of price compression on cultivation. It gets largely commoditized except at the high end. And on the retail side, it gets very competitive, and we don't think retail is necessarily bad business, and it's certainly not our expertise, but most importantly, for competitive reasons, we stay out of retail. We want all of the best retailers to carry our brands, and if we owned a big chain of retail stores, it's unlikely that our competition would want to carry the brands that we owned. So we're in multiple chains of retail stores that are competitive to one another, but we're in 1,500 stores in total, lots of mom and pops as well. The revenue we generate is the wholesale revenue to the stores. So a store may have 2 times the revenue we have, but sold the same number of products. So we like to look at units of branded cannabis products sold by serving size. So in most mature states, 10 milligrams of THC would be considered 1 serving size. In Oregon, it's 5. But if you take all of the cannabis that we've sold and put it into sort of 10 milligram servings, the branded cannabis that we've sold, you'd have in excess of 1 billion servings with our name on it, sold historically, and that's what we really care about. So while the revenue might not be as high as the vertically integrated guys, I think the quality of the revenue is higher. And since we believe this market moves to a CPG model, and that we are behaving like a CPG company now, and we believe that that's the long-term best play for us, we look at what is going on in CPG in mature industries.
You're a Canadian company, but on the road a lot, looking for more opportunities. How important is the US market for you? And is the wellness market something that you'll enter into?
Yeah, I mean, the US market is incredibly important. I'm a proud Canadian, but the US consumer economy is 10 to 1 hours. And it's also a trend-setting consumer market. In terms of the US as a cannabis market, though, it's also by far the biggest. So it's not the federally regulated opportunity Canada is, and Canada's incredibly exciting as a federal recreational market, but it's probably comparable in size to California. Colorado alone sells more than $1.5 billion worth of cannabis every year, US dollars. That's our biggest market in terms of our SLANG branded products. And so we ultimately want to compete and succeed in the most competitive markets, so we know how our brands are actually doing, rather than the limited license, sort of smaller markets.
Wonderful. And how can investors participate in your growth story, and how can they learn more about SLANG Worldwide?
So in terms of participation, we recently raised money through a sub-receipt deal, and that's closed, and unfortunately, unless you're buying secondary, you can't participate in that. But we'll be public soon. And then we would love as many retail investors as possible to do their diligence at Slang, learn the story, and make their own decision about whether they want to invest in us or not.
Excellent. Peter Miller, wish you all the best with SLANG Worldwide. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.